Hi there, I'm Gordon McLean and I work for the Corra Foundation within our People in Place team. And my role is I'm the National Programme Manager for our Getting Alongside Communities programme. And I would like to take this opportunity just to say that I'm really sorry I'm not in person today, but I'm at another event and I am aware I sound like I am accepting an award. So I'll just move on. I've prepared a few slides just to talk to, so I'll just bring them up. For those of you who are aware of Corra, you'll know that we are a Scottish grant-making charity and that our vision is for a society in which people create positive change and enjoy fulfilling lives. Our mission is to make a difference with people and communities by encouraging positive change, opportunities, fairness and growth of aspirations, which improves lives. And we do that through our grant making, place-based work, and through influencing change. Our strategy has three key elements, which is voice, power, and change. And I will describe how we are helping to focus on those elements through our place work. And within our strategy, we have three big changes, which are the power to create change rests with people themselves, that people with ideas for radical change are supported, skilled, connected, and confident, and importantly, that people are working together to respond to the big challenges facing Scotland. And again, place is instrumental in achieving this. Our people in place approach and our strategic objective is to reach communities that grant making doesn't. And I'll say a bit in a second about why we're working in communities that we are. So this document, Journey of Finding People in Place, is actually on our website, so I can have a chance to look at it in more detail. But very briefly, we worked alongside some other funders, so Children in Need, Big Lottery and Robertson Trust to identify where independent funding wasn't reaching. We also worked alongside the Improvement Service to look at the 9 areas that were identified as receiving significantly less funding to drill down to look, looking at all SIMD indicators and looking at communities of around a size of 2,000 in population. So yeah, Improvement Service were very helpful in that. And through that, we then approached those communities and community leaders and partners and of course local authorities to explore the opportunities, to look at what other work was already happening. And then we made a pledge to work alongside that community with a 10-year commitment from Corra. And then from that point, we then sought to develop those relationships and ensure that we listen to those community ideas and aspirations and build those relationships. And what happens or what happened next from working with those communities was completely up to those communities. But what we've done to support that is provide that dedicated community coordinator that's in each of those communities to listen and to, as I say, support those ideas and get alongside communities. So as I say, we are now working alongside 8 communities. We were working alongside 9. One work in one community has come to an end, and you can take a quick glance at some of those statistics. That I won't dwell on them. The work. So any place-based approach. I'm sure I don't need to tell everyone in the room that it's challenging. It takes time, and that when we start to think about systems, how complicated and complex it is. But for us, just really that kind of ensuring that communities are at the centre of the approach, and then are supported to feed into and to work alongside and influence the different levels, such as local government, national government, and wider systems. Also, it's important to recognise a number of policies, and we do have, certainly on paper, an enabling policy context. And I'm sure you'll recognise those policies there: Community Empowerment Act, National Planning Framework, Democracy Matters, and we've got phase 2 just recently kicked off, and the Place Principle. And then on a kind of more national scale, we have community wealth building and wellbeing economy. This slide just shows the themes that have come out of the work in the 6-7 years that we've been working alongside communities. So connections, local planning, wellbeing spaces, food, cost of living, and participatory grant making are all activities that have happened. And you'll see we have a fairly even split between maintaining and building relationships, of supporting local action to happen, so helping people develop their ideas, and then also facilitating communities to connect with themselves, with other networks, and both locally and nationally. We have supported a number of ideas to happen, and that is through what we call our Idea into Action grants. It's a small scale funding that we provide to areas, and with an average of 1,000 and almost 1,200 per idea developed. We have a logic model which we work to. Again, sorry, it's busy. There's a lot there, but ultimately, what this shows is from that participation and that activity that Corra are helping to happen, through to working in a way that we do listen and support ideas, that what we see and what we aim for is that the community leadership to grow, and that need for a community to lead and then to facilitate then lessons, so we can start to step back to the point where within that 10-year commitment, the intention is that we would then step away and make that planned exit, because the capacity is there, the ownership and maintenance of resources and assets are there into the future by the community. This is a slide that just helps show how challenging COVID has been. So you can see that real dip in all participation. But then what's really encouraging is that ongoing participation and activity is really steadily rising again. And you can actually see that at a much greater rate than new activity. And what that shows for us is that community-led activity is not people just coming once, but actually continuing to be engaged and then actually taking responsibility and leadership of that activity. And with that becomes a greater amount of hours volunteered. We've got a couple of minutes left, so I'm just going to get more into the learning. So the main themes around the learning are participation, space, voice, investment, and learning and development. I've said a lot about participation already. Space is crucial in our view, that there is access for communities to agenda-free space where they can meet in their own time and develop ideas in their own time. And then through that, then also voice is really important to help support communities to be confident in identifying and communicating what those priorities are and what the actions are required to achieve those. We have we have lots of examples across all 8 communities. Carbrain is one example where we have supported a local women's group who met before the pandemic to be involved in community-led grant making, to also then lead on food provision through the pandemic, where we saw 23,000 hot meals and 2,300 food parcels distributed. As we came out of COVID, that women's group were really keen to establish a swap shop and services in Carbrain. And over time, we have helped support them to take on a shop within Cumbernauld Town Centre that they are now operating from, and recently successfully managed to get Scottish Government funding and are now employing their own staff, which is absolutely fantastic. And then Duntilly here, you can see that, so the magic of the food share. So these are just some of the volunteers who 6 years ago the Duntley Community Centre wasn't open, so we've helped to reopen that centre, and through that it's become a real community hub of activity. And the future is one example where volunteers come together every Friday, where they are where they identified the need and the desire to support their local community members with access to affordable food. So this slide just shows that, well, the worst and best case example of how we work with and alongside communities. So the top being the worst example, where we do two communities. So the community themselves is identified for them, and they're told what the issues are, and then decisions are made for them. And we've seen time and time again that what that results in is disengagement and distrust. The best case example, which we always strive for, and I've seen great examples of where communities are given control to lead their own process, identify their own community, self-identify those issues, and the decisions are made by the community, and then they have that sense of agency to establish and develop. And of course, yeah, it's not as clean cut as that, it is complex, but even just ensuring that one of those steps is community owned or community can have that say, it makes a huge difference. And it's really, really important to us. Yeah, so I am aware, sorry, running out of time. So shared learning, so community voice is extremely important. The community power, so that connection, connecting people to their own skills, knowledge, and building capacity for action into the future, which will have and does have a massive impact on helping these communities build themselves out of that poverty cycle, and into that community change. So connecting people to their ability to be change makers and influence the kinds of change needed in each community. And we see at Corra, we have a role in that, and bringing those communities and those other actors, so partners, together to make that change. And finally, I just want to touch on how we're now doing that within communities or within our approach. So communities are facing a critical moment of transition as we begin to emerge from the pandemic. And we know from communities, local authorities and other partners that it's a moment in time for communities to create the changes that address those immediate issues and to truly imagine a better future. And how we are now doing that within Corra, is through our CP's approach with love alliteration. So focusing on priorities, plans and partnerships. So with that, so priorities, we know community priorities are changing. We can play an important role in supporting priorities to be shaped and shared. Plans, so supporting communities to set out their priorities and actions to achieve them in a community-owned plan. Now that can be through existing community action plans and locality plans through community planning partnerships, but not always. But it is important that communities are able to set those priorities out. And then crucially, partnerships, that we have a key role as Corra and other place-based partners to connect those partners together who help produce the plan and help deliver on community priorities. So with that, I'm going to stop there. I hope you have a fantastic rest of the conference, of the day. And yeah, thank you very much.